you mentioned an athletic story about Watson. The one about Russell Wilson certainly caught my eye on Thursday. I know it caught yours as well. Do you think this could wind up with Russell Wilson somewhere else, Mike?
I thought that it would happen next year until I read that article. And I think in the aftermath of that article, which contains surely items from the Seahawks, who have said nothing publicly, they've been the mirror image of the Texans situation, where in Houston it's Texans talking, quarterback isn't. In Seattle it's quarterback talking, team isn't. But somebody from the team shared some of that information with The Athletic. And, Rich, when I got to the end of that story, and I believe very strongly that anyone who reads every word of one of these hashtag long read stories should get a T-shirt. When I got to the end of it, I said, if the Seahawks don't view Russell Wilson the way that Russell Wilson views Russell Wilson, why not trade him to a team that does? Because that team will offer something that makes the Seahawks say, well, these idiots think he's Patrick Mahomes. So it seems like it's inevitable, and if it is inevitable, you can either peel the Band-Aid off slowly or just rip it off now. And I think if they believe it's going to happen at some point, why not do it now? Why not maximize your package and hope that these four teams that were identified by his agent last week, unprecedented. I fell out of the chair when the agent lists the four teams that Russell Wilson would accept a trade to. Play them against each other, get your best offer, and move on. I think there's a lot of wisdom in doing that if you think you're on a collision course for a divorce with Russell Wilson anyway.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that if you're not viewing Russell Wilson the way that he wants to be viewed, or you'd think most other organizations would, then why would you keep him? Why have that? Why was there a setup at all where Russell is told thanks but no thanks, and he storms out of the room? Again, you know how stories get told sometimes, whether it's embellished or not, or what's the reason why somebody is telling this story or not, and where it comes from is of importance. But that one did surprise me. It's like, why wouldn't Russell Wilson be allowed to do what he really wants? I understand that players still need to be coached, and coaches still need to have their influence on the way things are run. But how in the world is that not? How does that happen where Russell is told, yeah, the last 7 turnovers are mostly your fault, get out of the room?
Well, this is the pressure point, I think. The most obvious one on the transformation we're seeing with quarterbacks acquiring more power, more influence, more control. And I think the Tom Brady trek to Tampa Bay and what they were able to do in his first year there has thrown a wrench into a lot of these quarterback relationships. And whether someone decides to take it public, like Russell Wilson, or whether someone is stewing privately with a glass of scotch like Aaron Rodgers, and I suspect that he is, they see what Brady did. He picked his team, called his shot, they've deferred to him every step of the way, and they build the team around him. And Russell Wilson wants a team where the offense will run through him like it does with Patrick Mahomes. I think that's one of the reasons why he's intrigued by the Bears, because it's an Andy Reid assistant who runs that same offense, and fine, let me do what Patrick Mahomes does in the same offense. Because otherwise you look at the Bears and say, Russell, why the hell do you want to play for the Bears? That's the reason why. So I think that the Brady dynamic is causing guys who used to be petrified about becoming villains in their own towns, Russell Wilson willing to put it out there, willing to go against the Go Hawks grain and let it be known that he wants something different. And you know what? Most fans have reacted by saying, you know what? The guy's got a point.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.